Hey, what's going on, everybody? Glad you're back. For those that haven't seen the first video, well, here you go. I've been out hunting some parts, so I'll just show you what's coming up. But anyway, those that haven't seen the first video, this is the 1966 Oldsmobile 442 that I just purchased. Hopefully you get a chance to go back to the other video and check it out when I bought it. But went down to look at it, got a call. It was a 442, and that's all I knew about it, other than being in 1966. Well, luckily for me, after doing some investigating, it started to turn out pretty surprising for me. So just a real quick walk around for those that haven't seen it. It's a really nice car. It's virtually rust free. You know, a lot of people always think these cars have spatter paint. I don't know when they started that, but I know it wasn't 66. I'm thinking it was 68, but I could be wrong on that one. You guys double check me. So nice trunk, all your stainless. Luckily the guy did not install headers. He did these goofy wheels and stuff. So just to give you a quick walk around and a little update on the car. When I bought it, got down to look at it, got there, walked around it, saw it was a nice solid car, opened up the hood, and the first thing that jumped out at me was that oil fill tube. So tall oil fill tube. It's about, I'm guessing, 2 inches taller than a regular 4-barrel carbureted car 442 would be, or a 330, whatever you want to say, but definitely on a regular 442. So I see this and immediately I start to get a little excited. So then I look down and we got a 390-925 E block. Well, that's the correct 66, 67 block for sure for a 442. Correct 400. Only used them in those 2 years. So I walk over, see a B. Well, the B's good. That means their heads are probably about, well, they're definitely 66, so that's a good sign. Stuff's still matching up. Take a quick look over, and we got a V for position number 5. Definitely a 442. So all that's adding up nicely. Of course, we got some goofy stuff, aluminum radiator. Probably Cal Custom, maybe? I'm not sure. It looked like it. Valve covers. Look good, anyway, I guess. Edelbrock intake. What would you call that? A performer? And a Edelbrock carb. Well, I'm not a fan of that, but I see this tall tube, and that's pretty exciting. So, of course, I'm checking out the car. Everything else is good, so I know. Check right here, and you got a pad, and on that pad you'll have a engine sequence number. You'll start with a V, then what was it, 7 or 8 digits, I guess, and then if you're really lucky, it has a T on the back of it. Well, I'm looking. I don't have any numbers there. So a little closer look, and I notice, okay, well, them heads have been off for sure because they're on the wrong side. I go get my inspection mirror, because think about it. If the pad's there, the heads are put on the wrong side, it's going to be here. So I get out the old inspection mirror. I read that off, ends in a T. Now it starts getting interesting. A T would designate that the heads, at least, came off of a Tri-Carb car, that being an L69. Pretty rare, without a doubt. So now we're starting to get somewhere. Things are adding up as, could I get lucky on this one? So you guys, I don't know if you know, that bell crank right there that activates the throttle, you can see that L shape with these bends like that is Tri-Carb only. That's been on there for a long time. Very interesting. So then you look at your throttle rod here, you notice we got some unique bends in it, the way it goes, and the shape matches up with the bell crank. That is a Tri-Carb throttle rod. So now I'm pretty convinced this is definitely going to be a Tri-Carb car, or L69. For those that don't know, L69 is a 1 year only, 1966. They started in December of 65 for the 66 model year and finished them off. Okay, so for those that don't know, 1966, just give you some rough, and don't hold me to it, production numbers. Oh, so we might as well do a couple other things, I guess, while we're doing this. I'll give you production numbers as we go. So 66 only, 442s have that I'll call it a gill, but a unique piece of chrome. Just a couple other little things on the 442, not necessarily for the Tri-Carb car. Black inserts, or black paint on your Oldsmobile emblem on the back. This 442. Got the original valve covers, which is cool, the bigger grommet. So I know I saw it in the car somewhere. There's a unique breather to this car. I know I have it. I just don't know where I have it. But I'll find it. I'm not worried about that. I know I got it. Alright, so back to some of the uniqueness of this car as we're looking it over. Roughly, I'm going to say it's 22,000, but I know it's like 21,990 something 442s made for 66. This one being a Holiday Coupe, which is a fancier. It's also the one they made the most of, which was 13,493. So, decent amount. It's rare. It's not super rare, but it's starting to make it rare. Of the 20, I'm just calling it 22,442s, 2,129 were dealer installed Tri-Carbs or L69s. So of those 2,129 or 29, I believe, about 1,100 of them were the Holiday Coupes, being the fancier Cutlass. So of course you had the Cutlass, you had the f.a.s.t, which was more the base, and then you had the convertible, and then you actually had 5 variants. But anyway, this would be the more common one because it's the fancier. A little bit nicer for sure. You got the chrome and the insides looks a little nicer. But anyway, there wasn't a boatload of them. I'll get back into some of the other stuff later, but you can kind of get my idea. Pretty cool car, low numbers. So as we're going through it, I saw this one was there, of course. So just of the alright, as I'm going, just look how nice the floors are. For those that didn't see the other video, I hope you do. I mean, this car is super solid. I'm going to throw it up in the air just to give you a quick look around. 442 on the dash placard. See, the dash is bad. Kind of unique. I didn't know this when I looked at it originally. And I'm told that the Cutlasses will have a white headliner and visors. So you can see I definitely have that. I guess the F85s and whatnot had color coded, but kind of seemed odd to me. So I see that. A couple other options. Looks like it had a glove box light. I can see the switch, but as you can tell, I have no glove box insert. So no luck on that. Got the Oldsmobile vanity mirror. Kind of cool. So here's where it really starts getting odd to me, funny. This car is really original. I'll show you more about that later, but if you look at the shifter, we got some weird glares in here. It's spelled out Hearst, and it has 442 on it. So in 66, and everyone you'll ever see outside, I've actually found 2 other examples now, but I'll get into that in a second. They will not say Hearst. It'll be an H. We'll have 442, but not a Hearst, just the H. So this is a 65 shift arm. So in 65, in February of 1965, Oldsmobile put out a bulletin saying that you could get a Dearborn, which is really, GM wouldn't let you call it a top loader because it's actually made by Ford. You could get a Dearborn heavy-duty 3-speed in it. So basically an indestructible transmission. They used them in... Pontiac had quite a few examples in the GTO, and I believe Buick did also. I don't think, and I could be wrong on this one, I don't ever recall in the Chevelle, but definitely Oldsmobile, definitely Pontiac. Anyway, so we got a 3-speed transmission here. They were produced from... Bulletin came out February 65 for March 65 production. Optional. So in 66 it was a standard transmission, would be the 3-speed. This shifter is 65. It's dated I don't know if we can see, so I'm going to pull this up. And all this looks so original, it's hard for me to fathom. And even if it was, I don't know if we can see that, but if you look real close, it'll say 265. So this is definitely the first batch of shifters that went from Hearst to Oldsmobile. So it's hard for me to fathom as original as this car is. We got original exhaust, complete original exhaust, manifolds. I mean, just everything about it. It doesn't have the original transmission in it. It really seems odd to me. Not saying it's not possible, but I can't see somebody blowing up the 4-speed, which does happen, but then they put a 3-speed back in. This would be a very hard transmission to find. Especially, it would have been one of the first, and it's only Oldsmobile with this shifter, and out of the first batch. So they only made a couple hundred of these in 65. And even in 66, let me see if I can grab something here. So in 66, the total production for the 442s with this transmission was 771. So out of 22,000, basically, 771 had a 3-speed. Being it wasn't a full production year in 65, it was basically over. I'm going to say it was only a few hundred. I've found, and believe me, I've done a lot of searching, I've found 2, possibly 3 others. So if you blew up the transmission of this, your 4-speed, how do you end up with one of the very first early 3-speeds to put in this? Does not jive to me. Not saying it couldn't happen. Everybody seems to think it's not the original transmission, but I seriously am having my doubts. I'm not convinced yet. So I know supposedly the piercing hole is different, but to me, I mean, that is, let's see, you can tell me whatever you want, but that piercing hole is perfectly matched for this shifter. I mean, that seems like it's, I don't know how you could be any more perfect. Alright, so that's an oddity to me. Originally I was hoping I thought it was actually a console car, but it's not. No brackets, and definitely this is original boot. So here's another oddity. See if you guys can see this. See this shifter ball? I'm trying to get with no glare for you. See the tricolored badge on that? I do not know, and I really hope somebody can help me with this one. So, according to GM, there is no GM reference of this ball ever being produced. This is perfectly smooth. It's a very high quality, OEM quality shifter ball. I don't know if you can see that. This is not a cheap aftermarket, or I mean, if it's aftermarket, it's very well done. So, like I said, look how pretty that is. If this was an aftermarket available item, I cannot believe someone does not have another example. I have countless hours searching for an example of this. I cannot find one. So if anybody, I've had one guy tell me, oh, I've seen one of those before, which, not saying he didn't, but I don't know where he saw it, if he saw it in a book, a magazine, or what. I'd love to know. I haven't heard back yet. Hopefully he chimes in, sees the video. Odd. Okay, so one other thing while I'm sitting in here. I'm gonna get out in a second. See the squared off shoulders here? So, I don't know if it's 66 or 67 or 68. I can't recall. I know 68 for sure. Maybe 67. See how it's squared off? They started to make them with a taper. So this is definitely 65. And like I said, the shifter's dated to 65. So it's a February shifter. Remember, the Bulletin came out in February of 65. So, like I said, early. Alright. I'm going to get out of the car and I'm going to walk over and show you a couple parts. I'll throw it up in the air and we'll just go around it real quick. But let's see. Now, just another really quick thing while I was doing this. So, in all my research, the sequence number we were talking about on the head, I found, I don't know, 5, 6 examples that were dated a little before, a little after my build date, which is, sorry, 3rd week of March, 66. So I found some in February, I found some in January, I found them in April and May, and doing comparatives, the sequence number fits perfectly Now that's the sequence number on the back of the head. Remember I was saying here, it's supposed to be over here. The sequence number fits perfectly in line with all those. So if I was a betting man, which I'm not other than on cars, I would say without a doubt, this is the original engine. This is a real Tri-Carb is GTO. L69 442. Oh, one more interesting tidbit. So we all know Pontiac GTOs had Tri-Powers. They started in 64 or 65. I think it's 65. Could be wrong, could be 64. I've never had one, but seen a bunch. Anyway, they had them. General Motors, when these came out, General Motors was not really thrilled. They wanted their marquee car to be the only thing available with multiple carburetors. Marquee car being Corvette. So in 1966, they issued a directive to all their production lines. You will not make multiple carbureted engines anymore. 67 model year, there will only be a 427 Corvette with multiple carbs. Alright, well, Z28 package is a little bit different. Z28s didn't actually technically come with one, but Crossram was a over-the-counter hot rod option they use for SCCA racing, and we all know they were available. No matter what anyone tells you, they didn't come in the trunk unless the dealer put it in the trunk for you when you pick the car up. Over-the-counter, a lot of people don't go with that, but that's what I'm saying. Alright, so we looked at the car. I'm just going to do the other quick walk around. As you can see, definitely need an interior, but solid car. Walk back over here real quick. Got the original door panels, which are pretty shot out, but I have all my stainless and pieces will go on it. Do a couple little things here. Oldsmobile had this kind of cool idea. See these little doodads you probably never seen before, but those are, you got your heat riser for your warm up, like your choke. Oldsmobile came out with this idea. Of course, they wanted to warm up when they're cold. You can see up in the port, it goes up under the carb, and there's for your choke stat and everything. Oldsmobile came out with this little idea. Why don't we make these little block offs? We can turn them sideways, which would be this way. See that? And we'll slow down or block most of the heat coming up from the choke stat for the car. Not that they're supposed to be putzing around cars, but man, let's get out in boogie cars. Alright, so intake manifold. This car I bought in pretty South Florida, and doing a lot of calling around and asking and getting out and talking to people, I found less than 50 miles from where this car is a dated, well, they're not really dated. Let me rephrase that. It's got a Julian date. So the Julian date, I believe, was 63. Perfectly jives with my production date. It's an AZ intake, so you had 3 of them. You had the early ones were ALs. They had some issues with those, and they did some revisions and came out with the AU, which I think is probably the most common, but I guess that's debatable. And then the AZ, which I think came out in early March. So this being one of the first March ones, perfect for the car. So like I said, it was about 50 miles from the car. Is it the correct one for the car? I don't know. I don't know the story how the original one disappeared. I don't know why. I don't know anything other than what I know. It wasn't on the car when I got it. I have this. So cool things that I also have. I have the original rod, linkage rod, that connects carburetor. How do you want to do that? 1 and 3, this being your primary. So you drive off of this one, then you're basically your next, what do you call that? You can't call it. Alright, I'm going to call this carburetor 1, 2, and 3. You're probably going to tell me I'm wrong, and I very well could be. So carburetor 1 and carburetor 3 are connected here, so they're in sync. You have this progressive rod right here, which I also have, which controls the the throttle opening. So you're running on your number 1 carburetor. You have this right here that's going to give you that amount of movement. And I guess about 40% of your number 2 carburetor would be in your primary. It bottoms out, and then it's going to pull your throttle blade here, which remember is connected to this, so that opens your number 1 and 3 in sync. So you got the original main. These are all original parts. There's no aftermarket reproduction stuff. You got your original main throttle rod. Now it's a puzzle. I gotta sit and look how everything links together, but I gotta do a little thinking on this one. I'll figure it out, not an issue. So this is your main one. It comes off, and your throttle rod that's on the car is gonna hook to that, and then we're gonna come off and go your progressive to 1 and 3, and good to go. So these carburetors are unique to a L69 442. GTOs are similar, but they're not the same. And you can see we don't have mixture screws. We have on the primary, being number 2 I'm calling it, nothing on the secondaries. So these are unique to the car. Somehow when I was unloading the car at my house, or I came home, I had the fuel filter, and I'll show you that. I got the original fuel filter, which is very hard to find. And I do not have. I need the Y block that's going to come out of here. There's an elbow. Y block comes out, and then we have this one here that comes up from the fuel pump to the Y block. We have this one that goes from the Y block to the housing. Let me think about that. This goes from the fuel filter housing to the Y block. This goes from the fuel filter to the fuel filter. So pump, fuel filter, Y block, into your primary. Then we have and they're copper, which is kind of nuts, but that's what they are. And these are original. We got going from the Y block to the number 3 carb, or the rear. Going to Y block to the front carb, I'll call number 1, but it's actually, we already went through that. So we got all the original linkage. Got some fittings. Got I can't recall, is this original to a 442 or is this a tri-carb only? So you're probably saying, what are you talking about? That's just a regular fitting. Listen. Let me do it with this hand. Can you hear that? It's hard to see. There's a restrictor in there. You go. I don't know if you can see it. There's a water restrictor in there. Slow down the water going into the heater core. So off of that restrictor, you got, because of the way everything's run, you have this going to your heater control. Went ahead and got these. They're aftermarket, but I really don't have a choice on that. There's no OEM left, NOS stuff I can find anywhere. So we got this one here that's going to come off this special water neck down to the bypass on the water pump. Same one. It's unique to an L69 tri-carb. Went ahead and got that. So this housing is unique. As you can see, it's got a 1 on it. That's only for the L69 442s. So this bracket here, this clamp, is going to go on the tall oil filter tube. And this bracket goes to the clamp and the tube. And this here is what bolts onto the fuel filter housing. So that fuel filter housing, I wish I had it with me, is unique to this car. It's got a top bolt. A lot of people use them out of Cadillacs, and I guess, like, I have the 61 Fleetwood. Mine's an AC car, so it's a little bit different, but a non-AC car, I believe, is the one that would be very close. But I'm going to splice this in. I'll show you when I splice it in. So my apologies for the splice. It's coming. I'll address this when I get back to my house. Well, just like I mentioned, we're coming back with a splice. Walked off without them, so here we go. It's kind of goofy camera angle, but I'm going to give it my best. Fuel filter housing for the L69 that I didn't have with me when I was filming. So here's a couple things that are unique about it. We have a 3/8 fitting hole, as opposed to a 5/16 like most of the ones for the other General Motors are on the AC Delcos. So you can see the difference. As far as I know, the L69s are the only ones that have the large inlet and outlets. I think I got that backwards, but I think that fitting actually goes on this other side. So you're going to come off the fuel pump up into the... Actually, no, you're going to come up the fuel pump into the inlet, which they're definitely backwards, and it comes out off the elbow. So differences, like I said, we have the large inlet and outlets. We have a thumb screw for the bail holding the bowl on. If you notice, it's like a knurled finish. I'll show you a comparative here in a second. And then we have the hexagon, which is the easiest to spot for the boss holding the bolt that goes to the bracket I showed you that goes to the oil fill tube. So L69 only, you can always tell. You got the hexagon, large size inlet and outlets, knurled fitting, and just one center mounting. So this one here, just picked up, also has a knurled thumb screw for the bail holding the bowl on. This is an OS. I was told it's off of a 1962 Starfire. And the guy told me a turbo, which I'm not even sure if they made a turbo, but he was pretty sure they did. You can see how it's different. You got an in and an out. It's kind of odd because that looks like a dead end, and this one looks like a dead end. So I'm not quite sure how that one mounts, but I found it interesting because of the knurled thumb screw on the bail. Incorrect. So as I was telling you before, a lot of people use the Cadillac ones. And the only Cadillac one I have is this example here, which is a air-conditioned car, so it has a return up on top. So the typical Cadillac ones you'll see people using are going to have a squared off boss here, or rectangle. This one, of course, doesn't have that because of the way it's situated. Like I said before, you can see the inlet and outlet size differences. The boss, like I was telling you, but if you notice, this has more like a rosette rivet type daisy almost looking thumb screw. So a lot of the ones you'll see at shows and out in the real world will not have the correct fuel filter housing. These are tough to come by. Definitely tough. Always want to look at that. And then just give you a quick, I didn't have these with me, carb tags. 7026057 be the rear one. 56 is your middle. 55 is your front. So this one I think is typically green. I believe they're supposed to be green. Don't have any coloring on that one. A lot of these you see are a goldish color, and I'm not sure what it's supposed to be. I know the number's right, so numbers. And the rear one's usually black, always black. So there's the treasures I didn't have when I was doing this. Let's get back to the regular video. Just wanted to throw this in there. Hopefully you guys follow the channel. Be great if I could get some subscribers if you guys like what I'm doing. Trying to keep this up and trying to make it something we can all learn from. Alright guys, really appreciate it. We're back to the channel. Back to the video. So I got this, I don't have the correct fan, but I got the correct fan spacer. Got a was a 1111042 dated distributor for the car, so I can replace the aftermarket. Got a fuel pump here. Got two lines, and they're 3/8 instead of 5/16, and then I got the tall. I have the 3/8 fuel line fitting, which will go into this. So, pretty cool update. Do not have a set of OEM air cleaners. Probably gonna have to go aftermarket unless I get really lucky. But I'm getting there, guys. I'm getting there. I'm trying hard. Walk back over here. Did I address any of this stuff? So we got all the stainless. Got everything here. Got some. We got 2, 4, 5. I guess evidently hopefully I got 3 and 2, so I can choose the best. Original set of headers. Original set. A brand new set of headers. They're the Holly ones. So if somebody needs a set of headers, those are for sale. I don't know if I addressed this or not, but GM restoration, so I guess they're authorized. Fusick, I think. Yep, Fusick's the one that sold them, so you know they're good quality. Fusick's got good stuff. So I got them. Alright guys, I'm going to load this stuff up. I'm going to splice that back in, and we'll have that added in. Hopefully I make it look seamless. Thanks for checking it out. There's more to come on this car soon, but please check out the channel. Check out some of the other stuff. Oh, you know what? I'm going to put it up in there. Sorry about that. I'll be right back. So I just threw everything back together. So one other thing I'll do real quick. Red taillights with no bars in them. This is 442. One issue I do got, and I'm going to have to rectify. I have a Cutlass hood on this. So it looks like the hood is definitely not original. Didn't think it was. But Cutlass has the wind split, or I forget the technical name. Technical, but that's what they call it, I think. Anyway, 442 is going to be straight hood. Kind of like an F.85 would, but I got a hood located. Hopefully get it this weekend. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to lift the car up in the air, and I'm just going to do a quick walk around and show you the exhaust, because I was a little unsure of it before, and just how clean it is underneath. So stick around, I'll be right back. Cool car. Hope you guys enjoy it. Cool, got it up in the air. Finally glad to see underneath it. So like I said, that's the cowl. I guess you call it a cowl, yeah, because the firewall is going to be front. That's the cowl, so of course they face each other 90 degree. But clean as can be, so there must be some deal going on these cars with a drop down, because decent amount of rust, but it's really, the inner structure is pretty decent as far as no rust through. I got a 67 GS 400 I'm going to look at and just show you, because yeah, see, you can see on here too, the firewall's nice on this one too, or cowl structure, just on the outside. Alright, before we walk underneath and check it out, I'm just going to walk over to this 67 real quick. So basically the same car, but a Buick. Ugh, spiderweb. Perfect. So this is what I'm going to put a video up pretty soon too. Really dig this car. 67 GSs are my favorite. You got the Star Wars air cleaner. Anyway, let's not get sidetracked. I know I do that often. Nice car. We'll do a video shortly. Alright, so back to the 442. Like I said, could be worse. That's fixable. It's unique to that fender. So we'll see how that goes. We'll get into it. Alright, so the rest of the car. Let's take a good look. Remarkably solid. No rust anywhere. Wow, very clean. I mean dirty, but metal wise very clean. Pretty stoked. I saw it on the trailer and laid down underneath it. Yeah, you know what, that could be the original fan. I do got a spacer in there. I bet this was I bet that is original fan. I'll have to do some checking on that. Not sure, maybe I do got that and I got an extra spacer. Don't know about that fuel pump. Do you know it's got both lines on it? I can't see. Is that an AC pump? Hard to see. Anyway, so I think this engine has been out, because look how it's painted. The pan's definitely been off because somebody didn't. Oh, we got a broken bolt there. Motor mount bolts are not in. Well, them are the wrong bolts. Let's see what else we got. So I bet. Yep. So they just set this back in there. Alright, so this is the Dearborn transmission I was speaking about. Got a tag. I'm gonna get some pictures of this tag. But I do know from laying underneath it, I'll get to that tag, but it appeared to be a very, very, very early number on that tag. 4s. Other than being dirty, absolutely perfect floors. Tell me that ain't cool. Rocker panels. Not one issue anywhere. Very, very clean. Very, very clean. Of course the frame, nothing else is rusted. The frame's going to be perfect. So this exhaust, original exhaust, I bet all the way. So check this out. Check check this out. Can you read that? Left hand 442 GM. Can you make that out? GM original muffler. Left hand. Let's see. Right hand 442 original GM muffler, and you can read the numbers on them. That's one you don't see very often. So I was saying before about the chambered exhaust. Evidently it's just the tailpipes, because yeah, that exhaust has never been moved around. Just the tailpipes. So we got the chambered tips here, and it looks like what? We got 35 degrees maybe in between the pinches. So that gave, I guess, a unique sound. I know it's really cool on the Camaros. Interesting. Alright, so oh, look at that, there's a door spring. Man, look at them drops. I mean, that is just perfect metal. Man, this is a good one. This is a good one. Like that repeat, it is a good one. I'm excited. It's all metal, guys. Alright, so we got the sway bar. That would be 442 only, but maybe that's an option on a GTO, I'm not sure. You got your box lower, what are you going to call that, a trailing arm. Wouldn't really call it a control arm. I'd say a trailing arm, but see how it's boxed? That's a 442 item. No, later on the Buicks that was an option, but I know it's standard on these. Limited slip. This now, alright, must have left it in gear. I believe it's a 355, but anyway, all good. Got air shocks. Never a fan of them. A lot of people do that, but I guess when you put big goofy tires on them, that's what happens. Alright. Oh yeah, so these are definitely the original factory tips. I think that might be 66 only. According to Gardner, because I did look at the exhaust to see what theirs look like. They make a good reproduction, but same tip, and they've got it listed as 66 only. Kind of interesting, that lag bolt, I don't know if that comes out, they show that as original, which, I mean, looking at it, I would say it's original, but never would have thought it was original if it wasn't on this car. It's in their mounting kit. Alright, very interesting car, guys. Just wanted to get it up there and take a good look underneath it. Figured I'd bring you guys along. I'm excited. Got to get this engine out, and what's going on here? Anyway, engine must have been out and had the valve covers off before, and absolutely spotless under there. So I'm guessing, I originally thought it had just had a valve job, but it could have a rebuilt engine in it. Anyway, it's coming out. It's going to get gone through. I don't know if you guys know me, I'm kind of a GM guy, of course. I do Fords and Mopars, but my GM of preference is a small block Chevy, and for the life of me, I don't know why somebody would paint an Oldsmobile Chevy orange. What the heck were you thinking? Well, I'll get it apart, and we'll put the 308 cam in it, and give it the W30 cam, springs. Make it a fun one. Not that it wasn't fun from the factory. Alright guys, enjoy. I'm out of here. Gonna go, I don't know. Enjoy your day. Enjoy your evening. Please make sure you like, subscribe, check out the channel. Try to do this and start showcasing some cars, and soon we'll be working on them. Just a quick look around. It's two big block convertibles, GS's, all original. Just a couple other ones. I got some really cool stuff, guys. I spent a lot of time and effort looking for them. You guys stick around, and pretty soon we're going to be going through them. I'll start showing you some of the work I do on them and how I preserve them, and start bringing you along for that. But just wanted to include